Hello, and welcome to the Cleveland International Film Festival's post-film conversation for Live, which recently won CIFF's Ophelia Award in celebration of hope, given in memory of Dakota Ophelia Berg. This conversation is part of the Halfway to CIFF45 celebration, powered by PNC and featuring 3 programs of some of the best short films from CIFF44. Hi, I'm Paul Sloop, the Short Films Programming Manager for the Cleveland International Film Festival, as well as the moderator for this conversation. I'm thrilled to be joined now by our special guests from the film Live, director and writer Alan Hicks, and Liv's sister and subject and cinematographer for the film, Tess Kunik. Welcome, Alan and Tess. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
So your film obviously took home one of our jury awards at the festival. But one of the things I noted right away is what a great team you had come together. So I'm wondering, what was it that led to all of you in this particular group coming together to make this film?
Yeah, well, so the team that has worked together now for this would be our 3rd film together is Paula Dupree-Pesman, our producer, and myself. We did a film called Keep On Keeping On in 2014, and then we did the film Quincy about Quincy Jones. And once we finished that film, once we were wrapping with that film, you tend to go through a little period of I'm never doing a film again. I'm gonna, need to take a break, and as we were in that phase, Paula had been in contact with myself about this tragedy that had happened at home, and with Liv, and so she was keeping me in the loop on what was going on, and was organising the funeral with the family. And Paula and my relationship is very much we always bouncing ideas off of each other, and just kind of a support network for each other creatively. And she was going through the dot points of the logistics of that day, and she said, you would have loved this girl, she's incredible. And then she started sharing videos of her, and I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. So and that was that. That's where it all started, but there wasn't any talk of doing some sort of film. And then at the funeral, I believe either Tess or your mum, honey, talked to Paula and said, if there's anything that you guys can do to help another family not have to go through this in the film world, we're all in. And then that's when Paula called me and said, I hope you enjoyed your break. But no, she said, would you be interested in this? And I said, of course. And that's how it started from the filmmaking perspective. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about for you, Tess?
Yeah, from my perspective, I mean, Paula, the nonprofit organization that she runs, my family was very involved in as volunteers. My grandmother was her first volunteer there. And so when Liv passed, Paula just swooped in like the absolute angel she is and really helped us celebrate Liv and have a space to be open and honest that she died by suicide, which was very important to us. And then, when we had talked about potentially telling Liv's story in some way, my mom and I were like, we want to do it immediately. We don't want anyone else to lose their loved ones, and we don't want other people to think that suicide is an option for them. And so Paula and Al and their amazing team just came right in, and we kind of hit the ground running from there, all while my mom and I are still grieving in real time. So it was very, very special.
It's devastatingly well done, to which your team knows, because It was one of the few films that the minute that I watched it in previewing it for last year's festival, I sent an email right away to Paula just saying, wow, I can't watch any more films today. So I'm curious, in the process of making the film and making those choices, did you have an idea about what you wanted to accomplish with the film beyond telling the story when you made it?
Well, the footage is what leads you. We had some guidelines in the beginning, and the biggest part was we wanted to do no harm. So that's why we involved psychologists with us from the very beginning, so that we could vet basically every move that we made to make sure that we weren't possibly causing harm. And so that does inform you while you're making editing decisions, and it makes you feel some confidence that you're doing this in a safe way. And the thing is with Liv, she once I started looking through the footage, and it just took on a life of its own, and she's her own ball of energy, and it was an amazing thing. And I actually felt like I was very close to her while in the process of making it, and still, she had that thing that just jumped off the screen, and this pureness and honesty, and she basically led us through the story. It sounds funny to say, but it's not one of those things like, oh, we're going to do this and then we're going to do this. Those decisions, it wasn't like that. It was taking us there every day.
Alan, I think you did the same thing for us watching the film. You got to know her through the film, and we took the same journey with you, no question, because when you get to the end of that film, we feel like we know both of you, Tess, you and Liv, and it makes it very hard to, even talk about. So for you, Tess, I think obviously you said in the first answer that anything you can do. Was there any specific thing you had in mind why you thought film could help, or is that was what was available?
Yeah, it's just kind of, I've always, I went to school for acting, and when I graduated from school, I didn't fit the mold in any type of casting, really. And so I just started telling my own stories and collaborating with my friends and making very experimental and various things. And so I've always kind of expressed my traumas through story, and have found that they open up conversations. And I think sharing the footage at Liv's service, we could see the impact it had, especially on the young people who were there. And so it just kind of like Al said, it felt like Liv was steering it in a way. It just kind of was like, oh, let's do this. Okay, what do you think? Here we go. And then we call her the boss. She just kind of took it. and it was really special for me while grieving Liv to have Al. Excuse me. I always say it's not a Liv call if there's not tears. But so many people don't want to talk about her dying and don't want to talk about her living because they're uncomfortable. And it was so special to have Al encourage me to talk about her and share her. And that is like a gift I am so grateful for. Yeah.
So the film's out there now. It was very new when COVID came on board and sort of disrupted probably what the plans would have been with people watching the film in person. Obviously, we shifted to CIFF streams and had the opportunity to share the film, but what has the experience of the film been now that it's out there?
Been you know, an amazing experience. It's been very different to every other film that I've been a part of. It's not one of those ones where you're like, okay, we're gonna hit the ground running, you know, and like it's more of a we're trying to get this out there to help people, to help families and help kids, and just to there's no other kind of purpose behind it than that. It's just literally as an aid to hopefully, you know, if it can turn one person from saying, you know what, I'm not gonna do that. You know, I don't want to put my family through that, or they're inspired by Liv and are like, well, no, I'm gonna stick this out for her. You know, that's the. So it's one of those things. I think it's a groundswell, and it's starting to take a bit of grip internationally.
And Tess,
Yeah.
I believe you've had like special screenings and talkbacks and events around the film. What have been some of those experiences and feedback you've gotten?
Oh, it's been just monumental. I mean, the impact of the film is wonderful. We've had young people say, you know, who have been actively suicidal or depressed, say, after seeing this film, suicide is not an option for me anymore. I spoke with a man a couple of weeks ago who said, you know, my grandson has been struggling and I'm going to talk to him tomorrow. And so I have seen the impact of people starting this conversation and becoming so inspired. It's like it lights a fire in people to just start talking to their families. And it's during this time with this isolation, and especially young people, you know, not being able to socialize and connect with their friends and their support groups in the way that they need. It's been nice to be able to continue to share the film with them, even though we can't be in a room together.
And I believe, Tess, with you, you have sort of an organization that's working around this subject now as well, correct?
Yeah, so we, the team created an organization called the Live Project. The film was very much the catalyst to that. We saw how it sparked so many conversations, and it also sparked a lot of creative inspiration for people. And so we have developed this organization called the Live Project. We are a creative collective, and our focus is to create tools and use the power of creativity and collaboration to make tools that start fearless conversation. And so we have worked to create this awesome game for youth ages 13 and up called The Game That Goes There. And it has been really awesome to create another tool that does the same thing that the film does, which is just inspire you to talk. And it does so in a way where you kind of open up and don't realize you are, and then you are suddenly in this space and you are opening up and those around you are opening up, and it's really awesome. And we've gotten really great feedback from especially the young people who have been playing. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
I can attest to the power of the game. My 6 daughters gathered around our kitchen table to play this game the day after it arrived at our house. And my wife and I were stunned with what we witnessed happen with those girls that night. It was powerful. There were lots of tears, and there were things we learned about our daughters that night. While we didn't play the game, they were comfortable talking with us in the room, doing dishes, etc. And we witnessed conversations between the sisters that were very powerful. And a lot of moments where the sisters gathered around one to comfort and console. And it was a thing of beauty inspired by the game. So it really is something else. I guess one of the last things I'd want to approach with both of you. So what's next? Alan, is there another film on the horizon now?
Yeah, there's a few things in the works. So I'm working on a couple of scripts at the moment. I'm back in Australia since COVID, so things are a little bit different to the LA life. But yeah, I've just got a couple of scripts in the works. As far as documentary goes, there's a series that I'm kind of dabbling with about the native Aboriginal people here in Australia that I've been kind of thinking about. But yeah, that's kind of the zone. After this film, I didn't have that feeling of, oh, you know what, I'm going to retire. I'm not going to do any more movies, which is, it's a good sign for, you know, longevity. Because I felt came out of this one so inspired. And not that I didn't from the last ones, but there's an energy about this that that's carrying on into my future work. So yeah, that's what I'm up to.
Tess, obviously the Live project, anything else on the horizon you're working on as well?
The Live project is going. We're gonna hopefully have our next run of the games coming out early 2021. And yeah, just continuing to have conversations with people and share this amazing film.
Well, we were quite privileged to get to share the film, and we couldn't be more grateful that you both took the time to spend with us now and talk more about it. We are excited to see the film out there and be shared more, and hope that those conversations continue to happen. So thank you to you both. Once again, we want to thank our special guests and you, our audience, for joining us for this special halfway to CIFF45 post-film conversation. For more information about the upcoming 45th Cleveland International Film Festival, please continue to follow CIFF on social media. Don't forget to visit us at clevelandfilm.org. And as always, thank you so very much.